I know another goal is to for you to become #1 in the world. You're very, very close, so we need to be have to be very careful now. So, but congrats.
Centre Court held its breath. The grass had been mowed to perfection, the royal box was full, and somewhere beneath the manicured lawn, history was waiting to be written. This was the Wimbledon men's singles final, and two men walked out to claim it. On one side, Jannik Sinner, ice in his veins, already the defending champion, hunting his 5th Grand Slam title. On the other, Alexander Zverev, the towering German who had spent his entire career knocking on the door of greatness, only to watch it slam shut again and again. But this year was different. This year, Zverev had already broken through. He had lifted the French Open trophy just weeks earlier, his first major title after a decade of near misses and heartbreak. Now he stood one match away from something no one thought possible, a Grand Slam final on every single surface, and a shot at conquering the one court that had never truly loved him back. Before this tournament, in all his years at Wimbledon, he had never even reached the quarterfinals. Now, he was 90 minutes from immortality. The match began, and immediately, something felt different. Zverev was not playing like a man overwhelmed by the moment. He was playing like a man possessed. His serve cracked like thunder. His return game, usually his weakness against elite opposition, suddenly had teeth. The first set stretched into a tiebreak, tension coiling tighter with every point, until finally Zverev clenched his fist and roared. 7-6. He had done what no one had done in years. He had taken a set off Jannik Sinner on the biggest stage in the sport. For a moment, the tennis world tilted on its axis. Was this really happening? Was the eternal runner-up about to complete the most unlikely fairy tale in modern tennis? Sinner did not blink. If anything, the loss lit something cold and calculating behind his eyes. The second set unfolded like a chess match between two grandmasters, neither willing to give an inch, both refusing to let emotion dictate their footwork. Breakpoints came and went. Momentum swung like a pendulum. And once again, the set was forced into a tiebreak. This time, the pressure, almost unbearable to watch. Sinner, the champion, the favorite, the man who does not lose twice in a row on Centre Court, dug deep into whatever reserve champions keep hidden away for moments exactly like this one. He leveled the match. One set apiece. The German's fairy tale now hung by a thread. Then came the third set, and with it, the moment that would define the entire match, maybe even define the rest of Zverev's career. The two men were locked at 3 games apiece, trading blows like heavyweight boxers refusing to go down. Sinner sent a return skidding to Zverev's forehand side. Zverev lunged, and his foot slipped ever so slightly on the turf. He recovered. He compensated. And then, cruelly immediately after, another ball came to his other side, and this time there was no recovering. His knee buckled beneath him, twisting unnaturally as he crashed to the grass in front of 15,000 stunned spectators and millions watching around the world. For a heartbeat, Centre Court fell utterly silent. Then came the sight no fan wanted to see. Zverev clutching his knee, writhing on the grass in visible agony. Commentators in the booth immediately feared the worst, murmuring the word every athlete dreads. Hyperextension. It's the kind of injury that ends matches. Sometimes it ends more than that. Across the net, Sinner didn't wait for an official. He sprinted to check on his fallen opponent, real concern etched across his face, becoming, in that instant, not a rival but a fellow warrior worried for another man's body. And here is where the ghosts came rushing back. For years earlier on the red clay of Roland Garros, this exact nightmare had already happened to Zverev once before. Chasing down a ball against Rafael Nadal in a Grand Slam semifinal, his ankle had given out beneath him in an instant, ending his tournament and sending him off the court in a wheelchair, tears in his eyes, his championship dreams shattered in a single step. Nadal himself, shaken by what he witnessed, had said afterward that he was certain Zverev would go on to win Grand Slams of his own one day. It had taken 4 years, but that prophecy had already come true once, this very season. Now, lying on the Wimbledon grass, with his knees screaming in pain, was it about to be cruelly reversed? Zverev rolled onto his back. He looked up not at the sky, but directly at Sinner and, through gritted teeth, told him he was fine. He got up. He kept playing. But something had broken that was not just physical. From that moment forward, his first serve abandoned him. Errors crept into his game like rust eating through steel. He smashed his racket in fury after dropping serve, the frustration of years of near misses pouring out in a single violent motion. Up in his player's box, his team searched desperately for something to say, for some spark to reignite the fire that had carried him through 6 sets of brilliant tennis. But belief is a fragile thing, and once it cracks, it is nearly impossible to hold together against an opponent as relentless as Sinner. Because that is the terrifying truth about facing Jannik Sinner in a moment of weakness. He does not offer mercy. He does not let doubt escape unpunished. Point by point, game by game, he tightened his grip on the match, closing out the 3rd set, then relentlessly grinding through the 4th, until finally, with one final forehand winner, it was over. 6-7, 7-6, 6-3, 6-4. Sinner, champion again. His 5th Grand Slam trophy. His 10th consecutive win over the man who had given him more trouble in this final than almost anyone had all year. And yet, when the dust settled, the story was not simply about the man who won. It was about the man who almost did the impossible. Zverev had walked into Wimbledon with a question mark hanging over his entire career, a man who had never advanced past the 4th round on this grass. And he walked out having reached a Wimbledon final, having conquered Roland Garros for the first time in his life, just weeks before, having now played in the championship match of all 4 Grand Slams in a single glittering season. He fell that day, quite literally, in front of the entire world. But champions are not measured only by the trophies they lift. Sometimes they are measured by how they rise after the ground gives way beneath them, and by what they choose to chase next once the pain finally fades.